You're watching ChillyBoy Productions. I'm Larry ChillyBoy Chilson, and this is my review for Motor City. Now, before we get into this review, make sure to go ahead and click that like button down below so that you can chill with me on each and every one of my latest videos. Motor City is a 2025 action film from director Pazzi Panzeroli. In 1970s Detroit, Miller falls in love with a local gangster's girl. In retaliation, the gangster enacts a setup job to get Miller locked up. With his life ruined, Miller plots a revenge plan against the man who took his life and girl away. Film stars Alan Ritchson, Shailene Woodley, Ben Foster, and Pablo Schreiber. So I saw Motor City at the 2025 Toronto International Film Festival, and I basically knew nothing about this film heading into this screening. I saw Alan Ritchson on the picture they used for the festival that obviously enticed me. So I said, you know what? I need to see that. It sounds like a good time. Get me to the theater. And I have to say, I am very glad I checked this out. I thought Motor City was a lot of fun. Certainly not perfect. In a lot of aspects, actually, not great. But I had a good time watching it. So let's go ahead and talk about the positives first. Well, I have to commend our filmmakers and the decision to try something different with this film. They were definitely going for 1970s exploitation style action film with the tropes, with all of the B movie madness intertwined. And then they upped the ante and made it a pretty much dialogue free film. Now, I don't think that is completely successful. We'll loop back around in the negatives. However, I did think moving the dialogue out of the way gave us some really interesting storytelling devices and made for a unique viewing experience within a pretty crowded genre. I mean, we've seen a million and one revenge action movies since John Wick made them the new rage of the action genre. So setting this one in a nearly dialogue-free aesthetic in the 1970s, that exploitation, dirty, grimy, unpolished feel gave it something distinct to go through. And speaking of that action, it is brutal. This is some bloody, brutal stuff here. There is a knife fight in an elevator specifically that had me shying my eyes away from the screen. I was like, holy crap. There's some really good, fun action stuff going down here. And even without the dialogue, particularly when it came to Miller, Alan Ritchson's character, I was rooting for him. I wanted to see him succeed and to at least get you a certain level of revenge. And maybe best of all, for a straight up action film that has no dialogue, it's barely over an hour and a half. That's right. This thing is lean and mean. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It moves on. It knows exactly what it is we as the viewers want heading into a film like this, and that's what it delivers. Now, when it comes to the acting, I do think Alan Ritchson is good. Not great. I love him. I do. I adore Alan. He doesn't deliver as much as I needed on some of the emotional aspects to truly give this character, but particularly with the action and mostly with the more character-driven stuff, the charm, certainly. He delivers that. But it's Ben Foster who steals the show because he's able to emote so much without words, and he kills it. His facial acting is everything here. Plus, I thought the soundtrack was a lot of fun, really great. If you're gonna give us no dialogue, you gotta give us some good music. The sets, the period piece, everything about that all worked really well. So then, what doesn't work so well when it comes to Motor City? Well, as I mentioned, some of the acting is not necessarily the best for no dialogue. And I think that definitely comes to the forefront with some of Alan's more personable moments, his more dramatic, sincere moments, and with Shailene Woodley's character, particularly because her character makes a lot of choices, we'll say. She makes some interesting choices throughout the film. And I think we needed dialogue. We needed to get to know her more as a person rather than just a caricature. And ultimately, she kind of just serves as a MacGuffin, a device to move our story along. That's it. And that's a shame for our only female in the whole film, basically, to just be a plot device. And I think that could have been solved if she had had a chance to have agency and become an actual character. Because without the dialogue, more or less, all of these people are caricatures. They're all 2D characters on a screen who can't be too complex, too deep. They just need to deliver the action buffoonery we came here to see, which they do, to their credit. But I think with Woodley's character and her relationship that she's sitting here trying to define and navigate, it suffers without that extra dialogue built in. I also think it takes a little bit to really settle in. The first act of this film, I was actually very concerned because I didn't think they were hitting the sound design as well as it needed to, and I didn't think the editing was as tight and kinetic as it needed to be for this type of film. I was getting a little bit of cheese ball from the first moment, and not in the good ways, not in homage to the 70s exploitation genre type of thing that you're hoping for, not a B movie cringe ball. Instead, it was kind of like, oh gosh, they're really trying for something here, and it is not working for me. Once we get into the second and third acts of this film, it works. They settle in, they find a groove, but just to be warned, I think it gets off to a bit of a rough start. So overall, Motor City was just a fun watch for me. It's brutal B-movie goodness delivered on the big screen. It gives you something a little bit different in an overcrowded genre, and it certainly does not take itself too seriously. It knows what it is, it has a vision of what it wants to be, and I'd say it mostly accomplishes that vision with just a few bumps along this pothole-filled Detroit road. So, that was my review for Motor City. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click that like button down below and subscribe to the channel so that you are always up to date on all of my latest videos, including each and every one of my reviews from TIFF 2025. Also, make sure to join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see Motor City? Let me know all of your thoughts either in that comment section down below, or you can hit me up over on Twitter and Blue Sky. I love you all so much for your continued support. Mwah. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.